Hi, my brain hates me.
Stop.
I've been promising a vlog about my neurological condition, so here it is. We're going out tonight, and so I am loaded up on painkillers. My hair is wet, so I apologize for my appearance. Um, I put some heavy consideration into when I was going to record this today. I have had this on my calendar to do today, and this is really difficult for me to talk about because it is an all-encompassing thing in my life, and it affects my family heavily and it affects our finances heavily. But it is really the entire purpose behind My Brain Hates Me. So, I have peppermint tea, and I did not bother to put any makeup on in case I cry, which I might do. So if I cry, cry with me because, hey, it's pain relieving. No, it's not actually. Crying makes things hurt worse. I have been in pain since August 2012. August 7th, to be more specific. But it actually started before then. I have a history of migraines stemming since childhood, and I was treated by a neurologist in the early 2000s where I took preventative medication, and I had chronic migraines and I missed a lot of work, and I was on FMLA, and I went through the medicine process, the drug process, where you try one medicine and it doesn't work, and you try another medicine and it doesn't work, and you try this medicine and it doesn't work, and you have all the horrible side effects. And I went through all of that, and they found a medicine that worked on me, and that was Topamax. And so I took that for about 6 months, and then they weaned me off, and then I didn't have migraines for a couple of years, or at least not as severely, and definitely not chronically, and I was able to work, and everything was okay, and everything was great. So I had this great corporate career, and I was promoted, and things were wonderful, and I got married, and I got promoted some more, and life was stressful, and my migraines started coming back. So in about 2008, I started popping Excedrin migraine, and occasionally going to Patient First, which I call Doc in the Box, to get the occasional Demerol shot for migraines that were really, really terrible. And they would fuss at me and tell me I needed to see my neurologist, and fuss at me for taking Excedrin migraine. And finally they said, you're probably making this worse because of all the Tylenol or the acetaminophen that's in there. You're probably causing rebound headaches, etc. So, yeah. So that was 2008. So they gave me some medications, and I plodded along. But I made it through. I went to work with migraines. I would throw up in the bathroom at work. I was a corporate trainer, and I would teach classes, and I would assign chapters for people to read, and then I would leave the room and go get sick, and then come back into the room and go, okay, has everybody finished your reading? Now let's answer some questions about the reading. So I really had my life under control with the migraines. And then in 2011, some things happened in my life, and I've always had issues with birth control, so I had this stomach thing that was weird, and I had to see a gastroenterologist, and I was throwing up all the time, and I had severe stomach pain all of the time, and I thought that I had ulcers. There's the word. I had to look to my Mystery Science Theater 3000 mug for strength and words. It was really a difficult time because we had just moved into a new house, and my husband had lost his father, and there were many, many things going on, and it was stressful. So, of course, I thought, stress, I have ulcers, but they couldn't find anything wrong with me. So, And in the meantime, I found out that I should not be on the pill because given the type of my migraines, it could cause me to have a stroke. So instead I switched to the Mirena IUD. Well, a couple months later, my migraine started getting worse, but it didn't happen immediately, and it didn't happen right after I got the IUD. So I don't attribute this to the IUD at all, and I really think that the IUD had nothing to do with it. So I think that was just kind of a coincidence. But my primary care physician was convinced that the increase in my migraine symptoms and the duration of my migraines was due to the IUD. So in the summer of 2012, when I began missing work and experiencing severe migraines, in the, I would say, 7-ish pain range, that would last for days at a time, my primary care physician prescribed lots of pain medication, and I was on FMLA so I could leave work early, and I was supposed to get the IUD out, and there was a lot of chaos and awfulness. On July 20th, I believe, of 2012, I had the worst migraine I'd ever had in my life. Usually my migraines have been on the left side of my head, and this one was all over my head. I had ringing in my ears, which I had never had. Never experienced any tinnitus with my migraine. I was screaming and crying in pain. My husband rushed me to the ER, and it took morphine level pain medication to calm me down enough so that they could give me a CAT scan. The CAT scan, or CT scan, came back clear, thank God. Went back to my doctor said, oh, well, let me give you some more pain medication. I started seeing a neurologist, of course. The neurologist didn't do much. My primary care physician wasn't doing much. So I made another video that I will link down below about doctors and talked about my experience with doctors and all of this. But basically, on August 7th, I went to work, and I felt pretty good that day. After missing work for a while, basically I was missing weeks at a time. I was missing days and days of days at a time, and I was in bed and miserable and crying in pain with ice packs all over my head. And if I did go to work, I would get to a point where I would go to my boss and I would say, I need to leave work now or I'm not going to be able to drive home. And the pain medication that my primary care physician had prescribed was not something that I could drive on. And I actually got a speeding ticket one day. I was going 70 in a 55, and the guy pulled me over. The police officer, asked me why I was speeding, and I said, "Officer, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I was speeding. I'm in severe pain. I have a neurological condition, and I have medication with me that I can't take until I get home." And he said, well, why didn't you just stay at work? And I said, because I can't find any place dark to lay down at work. So, so things were really bad. My boss finally encouraged me to go ahead and stay out of work. And so I did. August 7th, 2012 was my last day at work. And the last day of my corporate career. I had a good day that day. I felt good that day. My head didn't hurt when I woke up. I went to work. I felt very accomplished. I got caught up on a lot of things that day. And I think I wore makeup that day when I hadn't worn makeup to work in a while. And when I got home that evening, I was in the kitchen, and all of a sudden it hit me, and it came back full force. And I sat down in a chair in the kitchen, and after that it didn't stop. the diagnosis that I've been given, which doesn't really cover what's wrong with me, but is all that my doctors really can throw at me. They kind of have a couple of different terms they use. Status migrainosus, which is a migraine that lasts for more than 72 hours. Mine has lasted for more than 2 years. A refractory pain condition or a transformed migraine. Those are the other two. So that's my diagnosis. I have severe pain in my left eye, which right now, after I've eaten so that I could take my pain medication and taken, 2 of my pain pills, which is right now Midrin that has caffeine in it, which is why I'm drinking herbal tea. I'm at an 8.5. I just got out of the bathtub, and I try to take it easy when I take a bath and take my time. So we're going out, so I try to take a long time to get ready to go out. It's about 6:30 right now while I record this. So I have this horrible pain in my left eye all the time, and I have received pretty much every treatment there is for this except for surgery. The only thing I won't try is acupuncture, and that's because I've had enough needles in my face and head and body that I can't do it anymore. And I have preventative medication. My symptoms include nausea, light sensitivity, tinnitus, body aches and pains, vomiting, of course, with the nausea, dizziness. I'm unable to drive frequently most of the time. I'm bedridden most days. If I do go out, my husband drives, bless his heart, and not in the southern context. And there is no cure. There are things that can be done to stop the pain temporarily. The most pain-free days I've gotten in a row are 3, and that requires me to be in the hospital for at least 5 days. I'm constantly hooked up to an IV with heart monitoring, and it requires me to be away from my family in Philadelphia, which I don't really find worth it anymore, so I try to find ways to live with the pain. So, that is my condition. I actually have a page on my blog that really chronicles all of what I've been through medication-wise and hospital visits and things like that, which I will link down below. It talks all about my diagnosis and migraines, and what I have really is not a migraine. It's just constant head pain, I guess. So that's that. If you have any questions or you have head pain that does not stop, I hope you will feel free to ask questions, because I'm more than happy to talk to you about my condition. It's definitely an invisible condition when I have makeup on and when my hair is done and when I have on clothes. I look like a normal person, and you can't see that I'm in pain, and there are lots of people out there just like me. So I hope that if you're out there and you're in pain, that you're having an okay day today. If you're not, I hope that tomorrow is better, and if not tomorrow, then there's always next week, next month, or next year. So cheers, octopus hugs, and hit subscribe down below, and I will see you later. Bye.